Welcome to the Animal Agenda. I'm Tom Kiesche. KPFK is currently in their June fundraising drive. Please support listener-sponsored KPFK by donating online at kpfk.org or by calling 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. And this week, we're chatting with Erica St. John, the founder of a small but mighty animal sanctuary in Southern California. Singer Sanctuary. In addition to being a mom to over 40 animals, Erica is also a mom to one human child and a teacher. Disclosure, I've volunteered a few times at Singer Sanctuary. I've worked on coop doors, water reclamation buckets, a project that protected trees from certain pigs, leveling out a few enclosures, and moving mulch, all while developing a friendship with a very quirky Muscovy. Hello, Erica.
Hi, Tom.
The following I found online, and by the way, if you're listening and not driving, you can look up some pictures at singersanctuary.org or their Instagram. The mission of Singer Sanctuary is, as I understand it, to rescue abused, neglected, and abandoned animals, to fight speciesism and promote sustainable living through humane education, community engagement, and activism, to inspire compassion for farmed animals, to find safe, loving homes for eligible animals, to help build a coalition of animal, human, and environmental justice organizations. What do you think of that, Erica? Is that all accurate?
That all sounds very ambitious.
It does sound ambitious.
But yes, I mean, those are all goals that I have and that I've been working on over the years. Absolutely.
Well, let's get right into it. Why, how, and when? Why a sanctuary? How and when did it start?
Okay, so I am a lifelong animal lover. I was the kid that was always bringing home stray animals and trying to save everybody when I was young. And I became a vegetarian on my own at age 12 when I made a connection between the animals that I loved and what was on my plate. Around that time, I also became really interested in animal testing and thinking about animals used for medical and cosmetic reasons. Then fast forward many years, I started volunteering with various animal rights and welfare organizations, including the LA city shelters. And I volunteered there for a long time with the dogs and the rabbits. And like everybody who volunteers there, found it extremely heartbreaking, but also really rewarding. And so then, let's see, in 2018, I always wanted to open this animal sanctuary, but I had like the incredible fortune of some friends financially making it happen for me, like willing to donate some money. They said, you start a 501c3, we will help you financially get started. You'll have to figure out how to get it started. So I started the paperwork, established the 501c3 in 2019, spent a year looking for a property that wasn't too far from LA or Pasadena, where I work and where my daughter goes to school. And found this property in May of 2020, a couple months into the pandemic and lockdown. Moved in on June 1st of 2020 with 2 dogs, 2 rabbits, 1 human child, and I've saved, I think, over 60 animals since.
Wow. Congratulations and thank you from the animals.
Yeah, thank you.
So, our listeners may not know exactly where you're located. Do you want to be specific kind of where you're located?
Sure. Yeah. I'm in Shadow Hills, which is a neighborhood in Sunland, just north of Burbank, but only about 20 miles, 25 miles from Pasadena, 20, 25 miles from downtown LA, Echo Park. So not far from a lot of places in LA.
And that is technically Los Angeles City, correct?
It is, correct.
So you are operating a farm with animals in Los Angeles City.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
How many minds just got blown?
I
So,
know when people come visit, including myself, when I found this place, this property, I didn't even know that this farm area existed in LA. It was a complete surprise.
Yeah, it is like an enclave, an oasis of animals type stuff.
Yeah,
Kind of like the area of Burbank that has all horse stables in a way. It's
right.
just like, wait, how does this exist here? It's amazing.
Right.
So I want you to fill in the blank, and there can be multiple answers. EIEIO, and on this farm, she has some blank.
Pigs.
Pigs. What else?
Yeah, so I have 4 pigs. I was just thinking about this before our call here. So I have 14 chickens currently. I have 4 ducks, 1 goose, 3 turtles, 1 tortoise, 7 rabbits, 3 goats, 2 sheep, the 4 pigs that I already mentioned, 2 dogs, 2 cats. I think that all adds up to 43 animals.
Wow. Okay, I remember you having 3 pigs.
Yeah,
So did you get an additional pig
I got an
recently?
additional pig. Yeah,
You want to,
Kevin.
because I'm interested, can you tell me a little bit about that pig and where that pig came from?
Yeah, so Kevin, I found he was left on somebody's doorstep, not my doorstep, but he was left in a doorstep. And I've heard rumors that he was living in a bathtub for a year. I don't know if that's true or not, but pigs, it's popular now to get a mini pig. And a mini pig, a lot of people don't know, a mini pig is anything under 300 pounds, I think, something like that. And so the real tiny pigs really don't exist. And in order for people to keep them tiny, they either lie about their age or they starve them. And I suspect that was what was happening with Kevin because he hasn't grown much since I've had him. And he is abnormally small. And that would make sense if he was living in a bathtub for a year. But he is absolutely adorable. And he spends as much time inside as outside. So he sleeps in the house on the couch. He's got a little bed in here, but
Wow.
he also goes outside during the day and hangs out with everybody else.
So first off, I realized that technically I qualify as a mini pig. I never realized that before. Um, and I look forward to meeting him the next time I come up there to volunteer, which is something that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is volunteering. How does your farm work, or who works on your farm?
Yeah, so I love and welcome volunteers. I am currently looking for more volunteers. My current number is pretty small. I only have about 3 to 4 regular volunteers, about 3 days a week. So the rest of the time, I'm doing it by myself, and it's a lot because I also have a full-time job and I'm a parent. But if you are over 18, or I suppose with a parent that is over 18, and you love animals and you don't mind getting dirty and cleaning out chicken coops and picking up pig poo and things like that, I would love to have you reach out to me either over email or message me in Instagram.
And the email is connected to the singersanctuary.org, correct?
Yeah, singersanctuary@gmail.com.
Gotcha. So, I mentioned a few things that I did up there, and I remember when you asked me what I wanted to do, I was basically like, I'll just do whatever physical labor,
Yes.
because I do get my hands on enough fur in the world. But your animals are adorable, and they're all kind of quirky.
Yeah.
Um, I mentioned the Muscovy duck. Who do you want to tell about the Muscovy duck and why I
Yeah,
say
the
he's quirky?
Muscovy duck actually has a similar story to Kevin. He was left in a box in a parking lot when he was a duckling and ended up at a vet's office. And then when the pandemic hit, the vet took him home and raised him in her backyard. And so he wasn't around any other animals, and I think imprinted on people, which is part of his quirkiness. He doesn't really care about other animals or ducks, but he loves people, as you know. And the vet ended up, she's one of my vets, and I had another Muscovy duck, Bob, that I rescued from the shelter, who I brought to the vet for, he was sick. I brought him to the vet. I met this vet, Holly, and she asked me if I would take her Muscovy. So that is how Goose is his name. That is how Goose, the Muscovy duck, ended up on my farm. And he is definitely the most interesting, quirky character that we have.
He is. He would follow me around and just seemingly talk to me and like poke my shoe. And I have to give him a little bit credit. It's like naming a dog cat. So you named a duck goose. So I think it's hilarious. And I think
He's
he's
more of
hilarious.
a goose than a duck, though. He doesn't really like to swim. He doesn't love water. He doesn't like other ducks. He just likes people. He likes to, buddy around with people.
This is the Animal Agenda on KPFK. I'm Tom Kiesche, and we're chatting with Erica St. John from Singer Sanctuary in Shadow Hills. So, talking about ducks or geese and challenges, one of my other favorite characters from your sanctuary is no longer, I don't believe, not to bring up a sad story. So that leads me into the challenges of a farm in general. And then after that, I want to get into the challenges of a farm in Los Angeles. So, what are some challenges of your sanctuary?
Yeah, so I would say the two main challenges, there are a lot, but the two main ones are the emotional toil of running a place like this and then funding. So emotionally, as you know, Tom, animal rescue work is heart-wrenching. Those of us that do it because we love and want to protect animals. But the situation for animals, regardless of your focus, whether it's lab animals, animal agriculture, companion animals, is so dire, so overwhelming. Every day I hear horror stories, people contacting me on social media, asking me to, take this or take that several times a week or daily. And I have to say no to these animals. And that's extremely difficult. You have to accept that you can't save them all. And that's hard.
Let me pause you for a second.
Yeah.
One reason you have to say no is economics, but the other is you have a very small farm, correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Correct.
explain
Yeah.
how small the farm is?
Yeah, it's just over half an acre, which is tiny. It's big by LA standards, but it's pretty small.
When you think of 40 animals,
Right.
that's the
Yeah,
important thing.
exactly. And it's also really important to me that they're able to free range and not be kept in cages or
Yes.
coops. So everybody is put away and secure at night, but during the day they're all loose, intermingling with each other, having a good time. And so I really can't have any more. I could add a few more chickens maybe, but I'm really at capacity right now.
But in coming doing more in the vein of challenges, I know you deal with hawks and coyotes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you want to explain that sort of challenge?
Yes. So hawks are a huge challenge. There's a hawk nest in my neighbor's tree right across the street, and two teenage hawks that are learning how to hunt right around me. So I have put up several giant sunshades around the property. I'm just trying, again, I don't want to keep animals in cages or coops during the day. So in order for them to be able to have the best life possible, they're out free, but I have to cover as much of the um, sky as I can. So I have giant sunshades. I still need to put more up, but I've put up several. I built a pergola over my pond for the ducks, and I've put up some flags and other things to try to scare the hawks away. And then coyotes, probably a year and a half ago or something, I installed a giant fence in the front of my property because coyotes were just hopping over the fence whenever they wanted to. So at any time of day, too, it wasn't just happening in the morning or at night, it was happening in the middle of the day. And I lost a duck, one of my favorite ducks, Scooter, to a coyote. So I installed a really tall fence in front of the property, and it's a challenge. It's hard.
And Scooter was the duck I was referring to,
Yeah,
correct?
that's what I thought. Yeah.
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 He had like kind of the cutest limp.
He had the cutest limp ever. He had been attacked by a dog before rescued him, and his leg never fully healed. And so, but it gave him the cutest walk ever.
You also have the challenges of a small space. And the last time I was there, you had two roosters.
Yes.
And so that presented its own issue in a half an acre.
Yeah.
Talk
So
about that.
yeah, now I still have two roosters, and that was becoming a problem in the back small animal yard. And so I have one flock of chickens up in the front yard now, and another flock in the backyard. So one rooster for each yard.
And if I remember correctly, the last time I was there, I think I leveled out grounds for a future chicken
For a
pen.
duck coop.
Oh, duck coop that was
Yes.
built by the Boy Scouts.
Oh, you did level it for a chicken
I
coop.
did
Yeah,
both
you're
the I
right.
did the
You
duck
did
coop
both.
and I did the chicken coop.
Yes, I forgot you did the chicken one too. Yes, so you did the duck coop, and I already had the ducks when you were here. But you did the front yard chicken coop area that I now have. Yes,
But
correct.
my point was not yay me, but you have organizations like the Boy Scouts that come to help you,
Yeah,
right?
the Boy Scouts have been amazing. They've actually helped me with several projects around here and keep coming back for more. So, and when they come and do one project, they'll bring a bunch of scouts and they'll help me with all the other little things that I need around here, which is just, amazing because it's too much for one person.
It's too much for even when I guessed with you. It's too much for two or three people.
Yeah.
So the reason I was asking about the Boy Scouts is I'm going back to your website and it talks about people can visit if they contact you, people can volunteer if they contact you, and people can have parties there if they contact you.
Yes.
So tell me about the parties because that sounds quirky. That's quirky.
Yeah. So I would love to do more of this, but I originally and still envision the space as somewhere for people to have small celebrations. So I've had baby showers, birthday parties, really mostly adult birthday parties, not so much kid, because the animals don't love a lot of small children running around. I offer private tours where people with small children can come and meet all the animals. But as far as parties, it's more like if you want to have a celebration with farm animals around, you are welcome to.
It's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people that who want to have a quote unquote party, but it's really more like we're coming to hang out and volunteer for the day?
Yeah, so I have had a few people do that and a few organizations. One organization that did this not too long ago is the Humane League, an animal rights organization, and they brought a bunch of their employees and people, just volunteers who wanted to come, and they hosted a volunteer day here. I'm talking to another, Feed and Support, which is an organization that helps bring plant-based meals to people about having an employee party and a volunteer day here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then another thing on your website that I found interesting because I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan, but I totally understood it is that you asked if people come to your facilities that if they bring food that it is vegetarian or
Plant-based.
vegan,
Yeah,
plant-based.
yeah,
That's the way to
yeah,
say it.
exactly. Yeah, no meat. If they're visiting out of respect for the animals, no meat, dairy, or eggs. Um, the plight of farm animals is one of the main reasons I started doing this. And so it's an issue I care deeply about. 10 billion animals are slaughtered for food in the United States alone every year. And their lives until they die are miserable. And so, and most of my animals here come from really horrible situations. The first chickens I got were 9 hens from a factory farm up in Northern California. I drove up to Berkeley to get them. And when I brought them down here, I took them to the vet, and the vet said that they were the sickest birds she had ever seen and advised me to euthanize them immediately. I didn't, and most of them ended up living for several years. They've all died now. I lost my last one last year. But yeah, I just, out of respect to the animals and what they've been through, I do have
Yeah,
that
it totally makes sense. And sometimes I have to rethink how I think from my little perspective in my little box of the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we all
Uh,
do.
yeah, 100%. You're listening to the Animal Agenda on listener supported KPFK. I'm Tom Kiesche, and we're chatting with Erica St. John from Singer Sanctuary. So let me jump back to the beginning where I read your mission statement or your list of mission stuff. And I'm just going to say the first two words, and then you're going to fill in the blank, if that makes sense,
Okay.
and sort of expand on it. So, like, I'll say to rescue, dot, 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 to
To
rescue.
rescue, yeah, from my mission to rescue abused and homeless animals.
Yeah. So get into that. What
Yeah.
does that mean? We kind of touched on a couple of the animals where they came from. Do you want to do more of that? Can you do more of that? That sort of thing.
Yeah. So, to rescue, yeah, abuse. So I've always wanted to stand up for those that don't have a voice. And through volunteering in the LA city shelters, specifically at North Central, um, I saw how bad the animal situation is in LA, how overcrowded the shelters are, how underfunded the shelters are. And I remember there was this woman, I think her name was Beverly, who volunteered at North, and she established, this was before the remodel, so years ago, but she established this room in the back for old and sick dogs or dogs with special needs where like the normal shelter, everybody's surrounded by really loud barking and it's just not, it's like a nightmare situation for dogs. And she established like very high stress, panicky, and she created this little sanctuary in a back room at the shelter. And she would bring dogs in there for quiet time and special attention. And it was such a simple solution and so meaningful. And also, unfortunately, short lived. I don't remember the details, but something happened and Beverly ended up not volunteering there anymore. But it gave me, she was really one of my inspirations for starting this place and trying to pull animals from bad situations and give them a place to live out the rest of their lives in peace and happiness. And I would love to pull more dogs. I ended up doing mostly farm animals, but I did pull one senior dog a few years ago. I named him Grandpa. I pulled him from the South LA shelter, and he was deaf and blind and had a mouthful of rotten teeth, and he hadn't been neutered yet. And the shelter obviously neutered him. We had a bunch of his teeth pulled, and I didn't think he was going to live here very long. And he lasted several years with me. I just actually had the vet come to my house and put him down a couple months ago because it was time. But I'm so happy that he got to live his last few years here, just surrounded by love and friends.
I met Grandpa a few times. Every time I was there, he was there. So
Yeah,
I'm saddened that he won't be there. That I'm a little
yeah.
teary the next time I go there. So I'm sorry
I
about
know. Thanks, Tom.
that. To find safe, dot, dot, dot.
Yeah, to find safe and secure homes. So obviously my place is a place of safety and security for the animals that I rescue. And one program I've done a little bit with, but need to develop more is adoption. So most of all the animals that I have will live out their lives here. But at times I've managed to pull animals from shelters or other situations and rehome them into other safe homes. And I would like to expand that program, but I just don't have the time. That's like something I haven't been able to focus on. But someday I would like to. But yeah,
So if you had more help,
if
perhaps.
I had more help, if I had more funding, I mean, in a perfect world, I would quit my job and pay myself to do animal rescue full time, hire somebody else, and really, I wish that there were more paid jobs in animal rescue because the need is so great. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of us that, have the heart for this kind of work, but don't have the time.
So unfortunately, we got to wrap up soon. Um, and I want to hit the volunteerism one more time. But besides volunteering at Singer Sanctuary or other facilities, what can people who are not near Shadow Hills do to help you?
So they can donate, make a tax deductible donation to my sanctuary, either through mailing me a check or singersanctuary.org. I have PayPal, I have Venmo. They can also send me things from my Amazon wish list. They can, if they do live near here, I'm always looking for fresh veggie donations. If you have a garden and a million zucchinis this summer, my pigs want them. So any kind of help like that is really appreciated.
The last time I went there, I went to my Trader Joe's and asked them if they had any vegetables, and lo and behold, they gave me a whole box of vegetables.
I remember.
Yeah.
I
So
would love more of that. So that's something that I often don't have time for. Because I'll go to the grocery stores and ask for donations, and they don't always say yes. And it's a lot of time and coordination. But
sure.
if somebody wanted to do that for me once a week or even once a month, that would be amazing.
So I'm sorry we're going to have to end this, but I'm so glad you were here and did this. And you did absolutely a brilliant job on this interview as you do in your sanctuary. So I thank you for being on the show, and I thank you for doing what you do. And I thank you for allowing me to volunteer there and be surrounded by quirky love.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. This is Tom Kiesche, and you've been listening to The Animal Agenda on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles or streaming online. My guest has been Erica St. John from Singer Sanctuary. Special thanks to producer Marlena Bond. You can find out more about me, Tom Kiesche, through my link tree. And you can find more about Erica and Singer Sanctuary on singersanctuary.org or their Instagram. KPFK is currently in their June fundraising drive. Please support listener-sponsored KPFK by donating online at kpfk.org or by calling 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. The world and the animals truly appreciate it.